Chandelle, how did you think that sort of combative nature of a lot of her responses played with this particular judge? Because we did get to see his responses to her at times.
Judge McAfee is a very nonplussed type of judge to me. He doesn't really show a lot of reactions. I think her testimony was really playing to a Fulton County audience, sort of this defiant, I'm a woman, I pay my own way type of rhetoric, and then also sort of injecting race into it at every possible opportunity. I felt like her testimony was not credible and sounded defiant. I can't imagine that the judge is not going to disqualify the Fulton County DA's office from this case. I can't imagine any circumstance under which he would allow this to go forward. I mean, the eyes of the world are on this case, and he wants to show that the judicial system is fair and honest, and you've got a prosecutor who's basically self-dealing.
Well, look, I said that I thought she should recuse herself. I've been calling for her to recuse herself for a long time. I've been very critical of her for a lot of the way that she handled this case. But Shan Wu, I'm still just not convinced that the judge is going to order her disqualified. I mean, there's a pretty high standard to disqualify someone.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're not even close to getting there. They need to show that she really was self-dealing, that she was benefiting from this, and they're just not making that case. First of all, you got the problem that they're claiming it's cash. Second of all, Nathan Wade has a salary. He's actually earning it. He's been doing a good job managing the case. I mean, really, there's the irony, too, right, that Roman's lawyers are married to each other. I mean, under a certain kind of logic, and that's fine under Georgia law, but under a certain kind of logic, any attorney who's paid by the hour is going to have an incentive to keep the case going, so they don't have to be disqualified. So just logically, it just doesn't add up.
Geraldo, I want to ask you about, because Chandelle mentioned the race piece of this, and we heard more of the race piece of it from her outside of court in a statement that I think is part of the reason she's in so much trouble today. And that is the speech she gave at a church in January, where she basically suggested that the only reason anyone is talking about any of this is because Nathan Wade is black. Remember, she's appointed 3 special prosecutors. He was one of them. Let's listen to what she said back in January, number 13.
They only attacked one. I hired one white woman, a good personal friend and great lawyer. A superstar, I tell you. I hired one white man, brilliant, my friend, and a great lawyer. And I hired one black man, another superstar, a great friend, and a great lawyer. Oh Lord, they're gonna be mad when I call them out on this nonsense. First thing they say, oh, she gonna play the race card now. But no, God, isn't it them who's playing the race card when they only question one?
Geraldo, I always thought that was such a dumb comment, the idea that they're only questioning one. They're only questioning the one with whom she was having an affair.
Well, I think in a broader sense, Dan, that this is like Romeo and Juliet. I disagree with your previous guest. I think that this is watching these people, honorable people, competent people, people who have been doing a good job. They already have 4 guilty pleas out of the 18 co-defendants, doing a good job then. But the fatal flaw is that they've had this muddled relationship with each other that was not disclosed. It isn't just that, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's something more than that. Fani was going, well, Miss Willis was going with Mr. Wade on these various excursions at the taxpayer's expense, essentially. And it is preposterous to assume that with 6 months of cash stuffed in her purse, she deals with these are, sometimes lawyers get too technical. Sometimes you just need to be very matter of fact, reasonable, ordinary, normal. Do people behave this way if they don't have something to hide? Was she really, enhancing her own life by giving the boyfriend? I just think it's as awful, and these people should not be on this case. You're talking about the president of the United States. The former president of the United States. The stakes could not be higher, and the substance of the allegations being totally overcome by all of this drama, Romeo and Juliet, tragedy.
All right. Look, again, I've said a long time ago I thought she should have recused herself. That's a different story from whether she'll get disqualified. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.